Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be resuming the character ranking series that we haven't done in over 2 years, I believe. But we do have a couple of classes left. I think we have the superheroes and the one other plant class. I'm not sure which one it is, but we are going to do it. With that out of the way, I hope you guys enjoy the superhero ranking, and let me show you how this is going to work. So if you watch my ultimate guide, we're going to be ranking this as a class. We're not going to be ranking it as against every other character in the game. 10 out of 10 is what it does the best. It really fulfills the role of the class. Speaking of which, let's talk about the role of the superhero class and the abilities and everything you need to make. So superheroes obviously have a ton of health at 200. Of course, I really think it's good to run the health upgrade because 1, health upgrade is broken, 2, you're playing really aggressive, so the extra 10 health is really good. Another thing is, it stacks with Turbo Twister, so Turbo Twister gives you armor, that's what that ability does. It could also remove fire damage from Fire Flower, Fire Pea, Fire Chomper. It does not work against Barbecue Corn, unfortunately, for some reason. I think the devs made a little bit of an error there. Heroic Kick is really good. If you don't move any of the movement keys or the analog stick and just jump in place, you could chain together the jumps and go really far, and you could fly across the map. So that's a really good ability. And then there's 3 different Ultra Balls. There's the regular one, the multi-ball, and the guided ball. The multi-ball is kind of useless. I like using it for the memes though. But Ultra Balls are good to just hit someone if they're on a roof or something like that. And then of course the punches are good for going in and finishing people off. Now something that we are going to be talking about, and I talk about this all the time if you've watched my videos before, is the toggle aim and options. So you put the aim type on toggle aim, zoom in and jump. You can use the beam in the air, and this is extremely broken. And when we go into the character rankings, we're going to be talking about at max potential of the character. So you have this tech down, you're really good at using it, because if you are really good at using it, it really makes some of the superheroes way better than normal. It makes them a lot more playable. And I'll go into more detail with that, but beams are broken. You could use them behind a wall like this, and no one can shoot back at you like that. You could shoot them, they can't shoot you. If you don't have to approach people, and then let's say there's a chomper, you get high ground, beam. There's a Gatling behind a corner, just beam. So you could go through stuff. It's broken. It's really good. And then with the toggle aim, you could use it in the air. So if there's a peashooter in the air, you could do it if you have good aim. So yeah, let's go into the rankings. Alright, so let's rank the first superhero. So obviously this is 10 out of 10 means they fit the role the best, both with the beam, with their primary, everything. They really do what the superhero can do best. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is Cosmic Brainz. Cosmic Brainz is going to go in the 9 out of 10 tier. So let's talk a bit more about Cosmic Brainz and his strengths and weaknesses. Obviously what you want to do is, in multiplayer you could charge in the air, so you could charge on the ground. As you jump, start charging, go into the fight, and then you have a full charge. You could get one hit in, and then you get like a half charge, like that, and it'll get the kill. That's how you want to play the character. And then the beam is really good on this character. It isn't hit scan like the other ones, but its damage per shot is very high. So the beam can definitely take people out. The character does struggle against higher health opponents with its primary. So like a Torchwood is a very hard matchup. You kind of just have to rely on the beam because the Torch is going to kill you before you can get a kill on him, just because he has so much health, unfortunately. But the punches, definitely, this character is really good because you could charge up and then sneak up onto people and then kill them. And the charging in the air doesn't work in the backyard, but it works in multiplayer, so it counts as a part of the character. Yeah, there's a little bit of a glitch with the character in the backyard, but yeah, he's very solid. He does everything you'd like. Very good at sneaking. And then one little tip is, as you're charging and you use the Ultra Ball, you could kind of move as you use the Ultra Ball. It's a pretty cool thing you could do with the character. There's a lot of cool things you could do with him. But let's move on to the next superhero. Alright, next superhero we're going to be talking about is Breakfast Brainz. This guy is kind of similar to Cosmic Brainz, so this character does have a couple of strengths. For the first strength is he's faster than all the other superheroes. So he's actually the fastest zombie in the game, especially with the speed upgrade, which I highly recommend using. So you could absolutely zoom across the map. After you get a kill with the primary, you actually get a buff called Sugar Rush, where you'll get some extra speed in general after you get a kill. As you can see, it's around my feet, and I'm walking a little bit faster for a short period of time. Is that the most useful thing in the world? Not really. Is it a cool little Easter egg bonus? Yeah, it's cool. But with his primary, the issue is it does good damage output. It's just it takes a really long time to reach that max damage output. How it works is, this is where it's kind of similar. It's kind of like a charge in a way. He winds up, and then he reaches a top speed, like right there. But right here when you start, he's doing less damage, but then right there, now he's doing the full damage. So when he's starting out, he doesn't do a lot of damage, which sucks. So you have to keep that in mind. And then you can't use it in the air at all. So you can't like start winding it up in the air and then go in and attack, kind of how Cosmic Brainz can. So that really is an issue with the character. With his beam is pretty good. His beam is underrated. Again, it's not hit scan like the other ones, but it has that same issue as the other one where it has to wind up to reach that top speed, and the hands actually take a really long time to overheat, because yes, they can overheat after a really long time, so that never should be an issue. Like, you could fire for a long time with that. But with the beam, it overheats quicker than the punches, but you can see it fires for a pretty long time. But it kind of helps when you use toggle aim, because you could cancel as you go down. You can stop firing, go back up, but as you stop firing, you have to rewind up to reach that max fire rate. So that is a bit of an issue. Other than that, though, the character is he's really good with his mobility, and the beam is good. For my 100 kill game, the beam is really what makes his character any sort of playable. If he didn't have the beam, he would be like 4 out of 10 trash. But yeah, the beam's pretty good, and the fast speed is cool. So even though he doesn't do everything a superhero does, he does have a couple of strengths with the mobility. The next one we're going to be talking about is the Brainz. Brainz is going to be a 10 out of 10. And I kind of went into this character in the beginning of the video. Where he succeeds is definitely with his beam, but he also has a well-rounded punch combo. So having both a really good beam and a well-rounded punch combo fits the niche for what you want a superhero to do. The beam is just like, it is so broken. But I went into this character a little bit in the beginning. He just has his punch combo is really good, and then his beam is really good at all times, and his upgrades are very customizable. So yeah, this character is amazing, really good. Alright, so I have to record this part of the video a little bit later because there was an error. But Party Brainz is a 9 out of 10 character. I go way more in depth on this in my Party Brainz video, which I highly recommend watching. It's from a couple weeks ago. But to give a short summary, Brainz has that consistency I talked about with his beam being really good at all times, and again, talking at max, like playing at like a very high level, of course, the Brainz beam is better. However, if you're a casual player and you just use the punches, then your Party Brainz is probably going to be a better pick for you. But when we do look at Party Brainz's beam, it is a lot worse than Brainz. So when we look at its overheat, it actually is way worse. It has a worse cooldown. So you look, the cooldown duration is 7.3 opposed to 6.8 on Brainz. Damage is way less. It's not good. It's not good. But yeah, definitely if you like the beam, definitely play Brainz instead. Next character we're going to be ranking is Electric Brainz. So this character at a low level is very, like, his punch primary is not good. His damage output is just, bad. Where the character succeeds is his beam. The beam is like the one thing about this character that makes him good. The beam has a really fast rate of fire. It has a really high damage output, and it's really what makes this character powerful. And it's really the only thing the character has at like, that would make you want to play the character over other ones if you're like playing them perfectly. Because when you play this character perfectly, his beam is really scary and strong, but it still doesn't make the character perfect. But having toggle aim in the kick, it really makes the character better. And the beam, it's really, really powerful. It's one of the best secondaries in the game. It's broken. It's really good. Alright, so for the final character, I think this one was pretty obvious. It is none other than Toxic Brainz. Toxic Brainz is also a 10 out of 10 superhero. So the reasoning for that is obviously because his meter. He punches fill up his meter really quickly, so he's constantly in toxic overload. Now the character does get countered by gotify, like pretty bad. So roses are a bad matchup for this character, believe it or not. If you ever want to kill a Toxic Brainz or like don't want to deal with him, just gotify him whenever he gets overload, and he just loses it instantly. But of course, with Toxic Brainz, he also has his regular outside of overload, which is not very good. But whenever you do have overload, his damage output is extreme. The beam is really good. Another thing with this character is from range, his beam also gets the toxic effect, which is a very underrated thing. So toxic damage, it could be good to chip away at people from range, and since it is hit scan, you could get out of a fight and then you could still kind of like zap at people. And then of course, since toxic damage spreads to other opponents, the damage adds up over time. Because if you look, so let's shoot the corn. 2, 2, 2. Look, that's like an extra, like, I don't know, like after a while that could be like an extra 20 damage. It adds up. It really does. So yeah, toxic damage is quite underrated. Could really chip away at people, and then if someone's low near them, you could just go in and finish them off. But yeah, of course, the main highlight of the character is the meter. You get all your health back when you get the meter. You go back to 105 health. If you have the health upgrade, you get that extra 5 health. So we're running the health upgrade with this character because when you get overload, you get an extra 5 health. And with overload, you get more armor. So the extra 5 health is like an extra 15 health. And then, of course, with Turbo Twister, like I said, it stacks with health upgrade. So definitely run health upgrade. But yeah, outside of the mode, not super good. Still playable. And his beam is really good. Both in and out of overload. Just because of the range aspect. Because the toxic damage isn't affected by drop off. But yeah, very strong, very solid character. It's just he has everything you'd want in a superhero. Alright, so I think that's it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think, and I'd highly recommend giving Reg Brainz another try because he's really good. If you want to know more, watch my video that I made a couple weeks ago about Party Brainz. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good one. Bye.